Verona for a while I take my leave, to see my friends in Padua, but of all my best and beloved and approved friend, Hortensio, and I trow this is this house. Here, sir, Grumio, knock, I say.
Knock, sir? Whom should I knock? Is there any man who has rebuked your worship?
Villain, I say, and knock me here soundly.
Knock me here, sir? Why, sir, what am I, that I should knock you here, sir?
Villain, I say, knock me at this fate, and rap me well, or I'll knock your knave's pain.
My master's gone quarrelsome. I should knock you here first, and then I will know after who comes by the worst.
Will it not be? Faith, sir, and you'll not knock. I'll ring it, and I'll shew how you sol fa and sing it.
Help, masters, help! My master's gone mad.
Now knock when I bid you, sir, villain.
Now, what's the matter? My good friend Grumio, my good friend Petruchio, how do you all at Verona?
Signor Hortensio, come you to part the fray? Come tu il cor bien trovato, may I say?
Alla nostra casa benvenuto, molto ornato, signor mio Petruchio. Rise, Grumio, rise. We will compound this quarrel.
Needs be the matter, sir, what he leges in Latin. If it not be a lawful cause for me to leave his service, look you, sir, he bid me to knock him and rap him soundly, sir. Well, was it fit for a servant to treat his master so, being perhaps for aught I see 2:30 to pip out, whom would to God I had well knocked at first, and then had not come Grumio by the worst.
I sense this plan, good Hortensio. I bade the rascal knock upon your gate, and could not get him from my heart to do it.
Knock at the gate? Oh heavens, spake ye not these words plain? Sirrah, knock me here, rap me here, knock me well and knock me soundly, and now you come with knocking at the gate?
Sirrah, be gone, or talk not, I advise you.
Petruchio, patience. I am Grumio's pledge. Why, this and a heavy chance twixt you and him, your ancient, trusty, pleasant servant Grumio, and tell me now, sweet friend, what happy gale blows you to Padua, here from Verona?
Such wind scatters young men through the world to seek their fortunes further than at home, where small experience grows, but in few, Signor Hortensio. Thus it stands me. Antonio my father is deceased, and I have thrust myself into this maze, happily to wive and thrive as best I may. Cards in my purse I have and goods at home, so I am come abroad to see the world.
Petruchio, shall I then come roundly to thee, and wish thee to a shrewd, ill-favoured wife? Thou hast thanked me but a little for my counsel, and yet I'll promise thee she shall be rich, and very rich. But thou art too much my friend, and I will not wish thee to her.
Signor Hortensio, 'twas such friends as we, few words suffice, and therefore, if thou know one rich enough to be Petruchio's wife, as wealth is burden in my willing dance, be she as foul as was Florentio's love, as old and as feeble and as cursed and shrewd as Socrates' Xanthrope, or worse, she moves me not, or not removes at least, affection's edge in me, whereas she rough as are the swelling Adriatic seas, I come to wive wealthily in Padua, if wealthily then happily in Padua.
Nay, look you, sir, he tells you flatly what his mind is. Why, give him gold enough and marry him to a puppet or an agla baby, or an old trot with her narrow tooth on her head, though she have as many diseases as 250 horses. Why, nothing comes amiss, so with money comes all.
Petruchio, since we have stepped thus far in, I will continue that I broach in jest. I can, Petruchio, help thee to a wife, with wealth enough and young and beauteous, brought up as best becomes a gentlewoman. Her only fault, and that is fault enough, is that she is intolerable cursed, a shrewd and froward, so beyond all measure that were my state far worse than it is, I would not wed her to a mine of gold.
Hortensio, peace, thou knowest not gold's effect. Tell me her father's name, and 'tis enough, for I will board her, though she chide as loud as thunder when the clouds of autumn crack.
Her father is Baptista Minola, an affable and courteous gentleman. Her name is Caterina Minola, and renowned in Padua for her scolding tongue.
I know her father, though I know not her. He knew my deceased father well. I will not sleep, Hortensio, till I see her, and therefore let me be this bold with you, to give you over at this first encounter, unless you will accompany me thither.
I pray you, sir, let him go while the humour lasts. Oh, my word, and she knew him well as good as I do. She would think scolding him would do little good upon him. She may perhaps call him half a score knaves or so. Why, that's nothing, and he began once. He'll rail his rope tricks. I'll tell you what, sir, and she stand him but a little. He will throw a figure in her face, and so disfigure her with it, that she will have no more eyes, withal, than a cat. You know him not, sir.
Tarry, Petruchio, I must go with thee, for in Baptista's keep my treasure is. He hath the jewel of my life in hold, and his youngest daughter, beautiful Bianca, and her withholds from me and other more, suitors to her and her rivals in my love. Suppose it a thing impossible. For those defects I have before rehearsed, that ever Caterina will be wooed. Therefore this order hath Baptista ta'en, that none shall have access unto Bianca, till Caterina the Cursed have got a husband.
Caterina the Cursed, a title for a maid, of all titles the worst.
Now shall my friend Petruchio do me grace, and offer me disguised in sober robes to old Baptista as a schoolmaster, well seen music to instruct Bianca, so that I may by this device at least have leave and leisure to make love to her, and unsuspected court her by herself.
Here's to no knavery, see to beguile the old folks, how the young folks lay their heads together.
I'm Courtney,
I'm Kathy.
I'm Melissa.
and we are going to be analyzing Act 1, Scene 2, an interpretation done by Courtney, Kathy, and Melissa.
So in the very beginning, I liked how the group of girls decided to put in a scene of the front door to make it look like they're out in front of Hortensio's home, and then as Hortensio enters the scene, it's as if he's coming from his house and saying, "What's going on?"
I agree. I'd also like to elaborate more on the character Grumio. He is the servant. If you didn't notice, one of the girls used a mustache to signify that he is a servant. He is less than Hortensio and Petruchio, whether he would like to admit it or not. He does view them as friends, although they do not feel the same way about him. I mean, he is their servant. He's not really there to be their friend, although he doesn't view it like that. If you're looking in the beginning of Act 1, Scene 2, when Grumio says, "Knock you here, sir? Why, sir? What am I, sir? That I should knock you here, sir?" He's almost like making jokes of Petruchio, like not taking him seriously. And then eventually Petruchio begins to get angry and wrings him by the ears, which was interpreted as a shoulder shrug.
And you can see that Petruchio starts to get very angry and he says, "Now knock when I bid you, Sarah Villain," because he's saying, like, you do this what I tell you because you are my servant.
And then also, when they had to speak in Latin, I thought they did a phenomenal job.
Me too.
That's hard stuff to do, and they did that spot on.
Spot on.
I know.
Spot on. And also, something else that we picked up on is that Grumio, being a servant, he's very down to earth and funny because he's not rich, he doesn't really know the luxuries in life, and humor is something people pick up on, like, not necessarily when you're not rich, but when, like, just that's like a natural talent, and rich money doesn't get in the way of humor. And so we noticed that he was very funny, and he's also very down to earth, so he doesn't really agree that Petruchio and Hortensio are like agreeing to help get Caterina when just it's for money and really not for her personality.
It's also good that they have a little bit of humor just to make the audience more enjoyable as opposed to watching a scene where it's just bickering back and forth, and to get them more intrigued, and it goes along with the entire play's theme too.
You can see that Petruchio and Hortensio are more talking with like an air of determination and that they want to find Petruchio a wife, and that Hortensio wants it to be Caterina because he wants to marry Bianca, while Grumio is just making a joke out of the whole thing.
So it's as if Hortensio is using Petruchio to get what he wants, so we kind of made it where he has a little sly and attitude as to the play, and I loved how they did that.
Grumio really made sure he was the girl who acted in Grumio was very making sure that she wasn't interested in their conversation. He did not want anything to do with what they were talking about. He felt that it was very wrong and inappropriate to be almost like assigning a marriage like that.
And then when Grumio decides to say how Petruchio, no matter what he says, Caterina will bow down to him and do what he wants her to, and he'll disfigure her to where she'll have no more eyes to see with all than a cat. That is very interesting to see because it's as if Hortensio just is like taken back, like, you don't know this girl, how can you say that he's gonna control her in this way? Like, you don't know what you're getting into. So his facial expressions to be a surprise make it seem more interesting and more understanding for the audience.
To make it not so obvious that Hortensio is trying to convince and trick Petruchio into marrying Caterina, he kind of makes it seem like, no, you really don't want to do this, it's not a good idea, while at the same time kind of enticing Petruchio more into marrying her.
I would very much agree with that.
And Well, in Shakespearean times, all of these actors would be men, and they would have to play roles of women. The girls were all playing men, so it was a little bit ironic since.
Very, very clever. I thought
Yes.
that was great.
It was a trick on Shakespearean times that I enjoyed.
All right, I think we're good.
Adios.
See you guys later.